The Mario movie. You know, I remember when it first got announced and I found out that it was Illuminations making it. And I was so sure that it was going to be absolute garbage and was somehow going to be worse than any of the movies they already made. And my theories were only all but confirmed when I found out about the casting list. Now, I know the voice acting's been talked about to death, and I know all of the criticisms that have been levied against the movie. But is it really that bad? The answer might shock you a little bit. Now, I'll admit, when I went to the cinema to see it, I didn't have high hopes for it. I thought it was going to be yet another movie from Illumination that managed to somehow top their last as the worst movie I've ever seen. But I couldn't have been more wrong. From the animation to the voice acting, everything was on point. The pacing of the movie was just really well. It shows a good setup of Mario and Luigi struggling with their plumbing businesses, then it's right to the simple plot of lost brother, find brother, save brother. It showed enough to provide a background of the brothers while not taking too long to get into the meat of it. An issue I see with quite a lot of movies that I end up watching. The voice acting was easily the most criticised part of the movie before its initial release. But clearly the voiced opinions of many caused Nintendo and Illumination to rework it a good bit. Just enough to get rid of all the parts people disliked, while still keeping the original feel to it that it had in the trailers. Chris Pratt's Mario voice at the start was genuinely on point. It was pure serotonin. Hearing it instantly dissolved any issues I had with him as Mario, and the fact Charles Martinet actually does have roles in the movie, as Mario's dad and Jumpman at the very start, it was just a very fitting and well-received cameo in my opinion. It was good seeing that he at least got some part in the movie, as much as I would have preferred him as the lead role. It was a small role, but it was nice to see him in there. In fact, all the voice acting managed to keep up the exact same level of quality, except for Bowser, who was easily the best part of the entire movie.
Peach, understand, I'm gonna love you till the very end. Peaches, 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 oh, yeah, oh.
Hell, this movie was probably the most accurate depiction of Bowser they could have done, clearly displaying his intentions with the princess and making the effort to humanise him, and make him have some level of sympathy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not completely redeemable, but the humanisation of him alongside the comedy they gave him made him feel more misunderstood rather than antagonistic. So much so I found myself rooting for Bowser more than anything, despite him being the guy I'm supposed to want to see fail. Mario's plotline of adjusting to the Mushroom Kingdom, all the while having to find Luigi, was also a nice way to do things. It gave a sense of urgency, but still managed to break the tension with great comedy and wholesome moments with him and Peach. It's clear that the people making this movie knew exactly what they were doing and exactly which path would be right for Mario. And I like the spin on it that they had, where instead of the movie being about saving Peach, it was more about Mario being dedicated to saving his brother. Honestly, I think it just worked better that way. The movie was so great, it managed to become the highest grossing animated film in history, outselling everything Disney's ever made after only being out for a single week. And honestly, I can't say I'm surprised with how good it was. I mean, sure, the plot wasn't all that deep and everything was pretty surface level, but that's what made it good. It was a fun movie focused more on the nostalgia of multiple generations of kids who grew up with these characters. It didn't need to be that deep because, much like the games, its main purpose was to just be enjoyable. There are many critics who dislike the movie, but it's clear many of them haven't actually touched a Mario game before. They don't like the movie because it doesn't have much to it, failing to see that that was the entire point of the movie. It wasn't supposed to be some deep story, it was supposed to just be fun and enjoyable. I've also seen a lot of hate directed at the fact there was no woke stuff in the movie, but I found that refreshing. So many movies nowadays are just focused on virtue signaling and shoving diversity down your throat that they neglect to actually make an enjoyable film. It's a big problem where in many cases characters that are put in there for diversity reasons end up having little to nothing in terms of good writing. So the idea that it wasn't actually in there was great because it would have made the movie feel a lot more forced and overall just killed some of the enjoyment. Overall, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is easily the best film I've seen this year, and if you haven't seen it, I strongly recommend you do. It was a perfect flow of comedy, a little bit of urgency, and just so many references that every person from the ages of 30 to 12 will understand and get a lot of enjoyment from. It was basically just one gigantic trip down memory lane with an amazing animation budget and some of the best comedy I've seen in movies this year. And so that's my thoughts on the Mario movie. I wonder what you thought about it. Like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike it if you didn't, and let me know what you thought of the Mario movie in the comments down below. Also, while you're at it, why not subscribe? It's completely free and helps the channel out. And you can always unsubscribe at a later point. Enjoy your day, everyone. I'll be back soon.